Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer Blather 238. Dopie, Witless, and Evil. For a long time now, we have been commenting about the wave of rancid imbecility taking over our political system, our culture, and by extension, the world. The banality of evil is real. From lobotomized cretins running for office to those who seem oblivious to the display of insanity around them. From the endless shenanigans of the woke hordes to the irrational policies in immigration, energy, labor, defense, and everywhere the cohorts of the DNC hold sway, to the pretense that has no consequences in real life. People unable to afford basic necessities. Hundreds of thousands of needless death and destruction around the world. From Iraq to Bangladesh, from Mali to Paris, from London to Gaza. The world is aflame, and U.S. leadership, arguably the glue that held this world together since the end of World War II, is sitting with a blank stare at a beach in Rehoboth. Let's not kid ourselves. As the island sinks into the sea, fearless leader relinquishes the chair of the one cabinet meeting in 11 months upon a retarded kindergarten teacher who has no right to be there in the first place. The cackling dingus rolls her eyes with hand gestures that make Nancy Pigliosi look like a paralytic while spewing worthless inanities in an effort to stay glued to her bumper sticker messaging. But there is hope. As this guy says, all will be well. This week, Israel sent the planner of the Marine barracks and U.S. Embassy attacks in Beirut in 1983 to meet his 72 goats while performing a novel form of sex reassigning surgery on thousands of his minions. As an effective fighting force, Hamas is gone, his bollocks is on its way, and the show has barely started. A new Arab NATO is taking shape in the Middle East despite U.S. lassitude, and while Israel and its Arab neighbors find more common causes, the Palestinian canard is drowning in its own bullcrap despite the support of Western social democrats, and Iran has been exposed for the toothless rabbit hedgehog it is. Like Russia and the rest of the axis of evil. China is drowning in its own hubris. North Korea is less relevant than ever. Armenia and Azerbaijan, at each other's throats under Russian influence, are breaking free and angling for NATO membership, as is Georgia. The Kremlin clowns are exposed, and their emperor is definitely sporting a birthday suit. In the U.S., unions break from tradition and refuse to endorse the cackling dingus. So-called minorities are leaving the Democrat plantation in droves. And the empty shell of the Democratic Party is left with nothing but apologists of terrorism, anti-Semites, Mussolinian fascists, and downright dopes to show for their efforts. The winds of change are blowing, and the execrable horde of dopey, witless, evil clowns that govern us today are on an express train to oblivion. And that is good. In November, save America from the clutches of these retarded lowlives and put the fascists out. Like I said, this is Beer Blather. I'm Sol Montes Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information from Florida, the free state of Florida. And right next to me, right over there, is Thomas Victor, the only living expert in World War I flamethrowers from Mexifornia, or what's left of it. And I'm sorry about that. And we're ready to start a couple of hours of Blather, if you'll join us, or maybe more. I don't know. It all depends on you too. Remember, if you want to contribute to us, because I won't be saying this again, if you want to contribute to us, if you want to support this channel, there are several ways to do that. One, click on support underneath the video if you happen to be in Odyssey. If you're not, why not? And support the channel. You can click on the $ and support us through the chat. you can join as a member, God forbid, and receive exclusive content that is not for the hoi polloi. And if none of this is to your satisfaction, you can always go to quadverum.com/support us and make a contribution that will not only help maintain this channel, but also a social quadverum, SQV, where the conversation goes on 24/7 all year round. So we're looking forward to receiving your support. In the meantime, Thomas, how's life in the land of the homeless, the addicts? I mean, I don't think it's the land of flakes and nuts, because they ate the flakes and shot on the nuts by now.
Well, it's really impossible to describe. Today, a serial rapist was released from prison because of one of Kamala Harris's decisions as Attorney General. So this is good. I don't know why, but as you know, in the debate, the two little lackeys, Kamala's lackeys, were prohibited from asking her about her time as California Attorney General. And there's little doubt why. It's because, she and Gavin Newsom together did more damage to California than, I don't know.
The dynamic duo of doom.
Yeah. So, I find it getting harder and harder to care. The house across the street is going on sale, and this is after the guy who lived there was an ancient Basque, and he died soon after my parents. And the house has been he had taken on a female caretaker, and this woman had old men all over the country who she was taking care of. And
wink.
No, and he left no will, so his relatives, he had no children, no wife. His relatives and this woman were in court for 10 years over that house, and now it's going on sale. And this woman is she's a chatterbox, and the guy who eventually died, he didn't believe in medical care, so the house is open right now, and he had a prostate gland about this big. So whenever he used the bathroom, he would come out and he would still be going. So he would just take a hairdryer and he would dry off his pants. So I went over there and I looked at it.
Perfume.
The house still smells like urine.
Yeah.
10 years later. And whoever buys it is going to buy a urine-scented house. He was on dialysis the last couple of years of his life. She took him on a trip to Portland, I think. No, Washington State. I mean, I just asked. I said, "What are you going to do about dialysis?" She said, "Oh, we'll probably find some along the way." He came back alive, but he was in much worse shape. And I got to witness how she treated him, and there was nothing I could do. I mean, every time I was involved in an effort to get him out of her clutches. And of course he fought, he steeled himself, and he presented himself as having all his marbles, and the cop said, "There's nothing we can do. He's he's showing no signs of dementia or anything." So, and there was nothing anybody could do. But it was very typically Californian. Just the sheer lack of law and order, and the sheer lack of giving a hoot about anybody except yourself. And this is, I had planned to stay here, but I'm not going to stay here now. I'm going to leave it as soon as everything is settled. No idea when that's going to be, but it's really an amazing place because Californians always prided themselves on being massively unpleasant. That's why we elected very unpleasant federal senators, Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein. And then in the Congress, we had Nancy Pelosi. All three of these people were massively unpleasant. And
the ones you're not mentioning too.
Exactly.
Like Chicken Shift or Swallows Well. I mean, those people are notoriously unpleasant.
Exactly. And I think it comes from the entertainment industry because everybody has a story about entertainers and how utterly repulsive these people are in the way they treat people. Okay, apparently the nicest human being on the face of the earth is Jay Leno, and Jay Leno basically has every door open for him because his reputation precedes him. And this is really elementary stuff. If you're really nice to people, then they're going to remember you and they're going to help you out. If you're horrible to people, then when you need help, they're going to say, "I don't know who you are." It's like, well, we grew up together. No, we don't. We didn't. I don't remember you. I mean, this is an amazingly short-term way of thinking, and it's very Californian. So I don't know. The everything is filtered from the top down in my state, and so the neighbors are just like horrible people now, and I don't know. It's just it's a very unpleasant place to live, and you and I aren't going to see the state turn around in our lifetimes. I don't think.
Yeah, these things can on occasion happen fast, but I agree with you. I've given up hope of ever seeing California as a decent place again.
Yeah,
it's confined to my memory.
The people here have a rabid, foaming at the mouth hatred for Trump that they can't explain. And if you ask them, why do you hate Trump? Then they immediately attack you.
Right. Just by asking the question.
Just by asking the question. And this is, I mean, it's really funny. I saw a leftist, there's a leftist, what would you call him? Podcaster, I guess. His name is Destiny. And Destiny was talking about conservative movie critics. And everything he was saying as a criticism of them applied to himself. And it was really amazing. Because conservative movie critics, the probably the biggest is a Scottish guy named the Critical Drinker. And when a movie's good, he'll admit it. But when it's bad because it was a DEI movie, he'll point that out. And on the other hand, leftists like Destiny and Bill Maher, they'll tell you, like Bill Maher recently said that even if what did he say? He said it's absolutely necessary to continue with the rhetoric about Trump, even regardless of the damage it causes, because he's such a threat that he can't win. And that's a tacit admission that the rhetoric is false. But
Right.
but he'll choose. This is what's so weird about Bill Maher, is that he knows that everything he's saying about Trump is not real, but he says it and he believes it anyway. And it's an amazing mindset. It's purely Californian. I don't know. I've not been infected at all by this mindset. I'm pretty much the way I was when I was 18 years old, and I was in college in Portland, and everyone around me was a raving leftist, and I was just like, I just want to get through these 4 years. You know, I don't know. It was amazing. Portland from 1981 to 1985 was, I mean, now it's horrendous, but back then, it was as leftist as any city could be, and all my college professors were leftist, and everyone around me was a leftist, and I just kind of kept my head down and got my grades and got the hell out of there. So
I remember I used to meet traveling in the Amazon and the weirdest places, all of these chaps from Portland or Vancouver, actually, too, and San Francisco, who were all peaceniks, all taking a break from the Peace Corps, all uber leftists. And I never met a normal person coming from there. And I'm talking about late 70s, early 80s.
yeah,
Actually, late 70s. It was already on its way to becoming a shithole, and they walked into it wide-eyed. I mean, I will never understand how these people kept walking towards doom when all the signs were there and none of them gave a crap.
see, this is the weird thing about all of this. They know that they're heading towards their doom, but they have to do it because it's what's demanded of them. It's the proper thing to do. Um, the historian Barbara Tuchman called it folly, where you do something knowing full well that it's going to lead to disaster, but you do it anyway. And these people are all aware. If you talk to them long enough, they're aware that their ideology is non-functional, but they go for it anyway. And it's because they feel that it's what's required of them, and they're not happy. They're very unhappy people. But did you see the video Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy talking to college students?
Yes.
You saw that?
Yes. There was only one part that I found interesting. It was a student of what is it? Social. She wants to be a social worker of sorts. Social studies, I guess. And she looked like it was very cold in there, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Her ring bells were coming through loud and clear when she was talking to Vivek. However, they disappeared. I guess he didn't have the same effect on her. Uh,
The video I saw, she pulled down part of her bra.
oh no, that's another one. That's another one that showed her titty. Because I don't know. Hopefully, to get him banned on Twitter. Of course, she exposed herself for no good reason. They just blurred the teeth, and goodbye. But the social worker is an interesting thing because she ended up being. She was telling how she was conflicted because everything she was being taught uh, was opposed to what she could see. and it ended up being a Trump supporter. Uh, I don't know how the hell she can reconcile the social worker type with being a conservative or an individualist, because it beats the crap out of me. But apparently she is. She started a slow march towards mind independence. Um, I
Well,
found her to be more interested than the two speakers.
well, with the blonde booby girl, she's highly intelligent and highly articulate, but at the same time, she was an idiot, and
Yes.
and Ramaswamy had a good answer. He said, do you vote? She said yes. He said, well, we're here talking to voters, and you know, I do understand. I don't admire Charlie Kirk and what the hell is his name, Ben Shapiro's ability to make college students look stupid. I don't admire that because it's shooting.
There is no art in there.
Well, it's shooting fish in a barrel. But at the same time, I don't know. It's just everything is just so insane right now and stupid. It's stupid and insane, which is a hell of a combination. If you're intelligent and insane, I mean, I've seen people basically convinced by conversation that they have mental illnesses, but if you're an idiot and you're insane, there's no hope for you. I mean, you're a goner. And just right now, I don't know. It's a period that I'll be glad to have behind me, and I hope it never repeats again in my lifetime. I mean, it's just
It would be like stepping on shit twice in a single city block.
well, I don't know. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of there's stuff going on that has no precedent. I mean, we were talking about the Joe Biden cabinet meeting, the first one in almost a year, when they're supposed to be happening weekly? Is that what it is?
Oh, you mean the it's supposed to be every week.
Right.
The cabinet meetings.
Right. So he had his first cabinet meeting in a year, and he immediately turned it over to his wife, who has absolutely no authority to be speaking in that room.
She has no authority to be in that room.
Exactly.
She's not a member of the cabinet. She holds no elective position. The woman has no business being there.
Yeah, just
is an important and interesting cabinet meeting because of who is not there, which was Vice President Harris, obviously, who has her campaign schedule. But then because of the spotlight that the First Lady did have, she talked about the fact that sometimes the White House, in her words, surprises you. And for somebody who has worked on women's health issues for her whole career, frankly, as a teacher, but also as secretary.
She worked on women's health issues as a teacher?
Well, then of course she has all the authority in the world to be talking to
Wow.
cabinet. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah. But why are they building up her resume? She is a retarded kindergarten teacher, for crying out loud, and they got her a doctorate by mail, which, by the way, is it isn't a PhD, it's a PhED, which is tantamount to absolutely nothing. And now she's been dedicating her life to this particular issue. Bullshit.
Well,
I challenge anybody to find anything this woman has ever done.
Well, see, this is part of the eerie sort of crazy, stupid period we're in. This is MSNBC, and here they are blathering out nonsense that literally nobody believes, not even themselves. So,
and then we have a cabinet meeting where the vice president is not present, and the meeting is being run by the wife of somebody.
yeah, just imagine if Laura Bush was like running cabinet meetings.
God, she would have probably thrown herself out of a window before doing that.
Well, this is the thing that I don't know. It's just such a bizarre, and all this stuff is being presented as normal.
Yes.
And it again, we're back to this, marching blindly toward oblivion. Like none of this should be normalized, even if it's your guy. If it's your party and your guy, it still shouldn't be normalized, because that way lies destruction. And I know that there's a lot of people in the leftist higher ups who think this country needs to be brought down a notch or two, and they're not worried about their own fate. But I would just tell them all to go watch Soylent Green, for example.
And by the way, a notch or two, maybe we can negotiate. But this is like 100 notches.
I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country.
Look at this. This is important.
We take pride in
Look
the
at the
privilege
faces of the
being
idiots in the
American.
audience.
And this is a moment where
Going,
we
yes,
can
with the
and
head.
must come together as Americans.
Fuck off.
Understanding we have so much more in
By the way,
common than what
we
separates
must
us.
come together. This
Let's
woman
come
has been talking to
together
Yoko
with
Ono.
the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people.
She's so
Americans,
happy she said that. Did
by
you notice?
character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one
What
of the
the
greatest
fuck is this
expressions of
woman talking
patriotism
about?
is to fight
Well,
for
she's
the
like
ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence,
the film
freedom to
positive,
have access to the ballot box,
positive.
freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you. Thank you.
What the hell?
Thank you. Look at this. Look at this shit.
We love our country.
Now,
Not a single thing she just said is reflected by her actions.
well,
I mean-
I don't know, because I don't know what the crap she said.
Oh, well, she said we're all unified and not fighting.
She's not saying, she's emoting.
Right, but what she did say is that we're not fighting against. Well, of course you're fighting against. You're calling Trump Hitler. You're like calling his supporters.
I don't know. I feel like I'm listening to the pothead in college 40 years ago.
Yeah, but also what she did say, the understandable parts of what she said, she's not running her campaign that way. She herself is not acting that way. So, she's full of crap.
Yeah,
And the person she's talking to, Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey went off on an Ozempic
Diet. Yeah. But she injected herself with Ozempic.
right, and basically what Ozempic does when people take it for weight loss only is it makes it an impossible for you to stop using Ozempic, and basically
Oh, it's genetic.
your stomach stops, your GI tract stops digesting, and so she's another symbol of unreality and insanity. I mean, I don't know. And
I wonder if the audience, all of them, got a car at the end.
yeah, a car they had to pay taxes on.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's just
It's painful, isn't it? And did you see the hands?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can use hands too.
Yeah. No, I mean she's a flop, and the polls are reflecting that. It's like, it's just a terrible, 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 depressing, ugly, stupid period in our history, and we better not repeat it in the future, because this is pathetic. This is
By the way, the women in the chat are referring to her as a seductress. And yes, I believe there is the intention in the vacuum between her ears, but it is this idiotic kind of seduction. It doesn't work with anybody but the stupidest amongst us. You have to be drunk or drugged to fall for this type of oh we don't like that. I don't like that.
well, this is how
To me, it's a turn off.
this is how she got into politics, was that she basically seduced various people, and was seen on the arm of the right people at the time, and became the protege of Willie Brown, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that came with a price that she was apparently willing to pay. No, and the whole thing is just, she's a grotesque figure, and the fact that anybody, I mean, if she had appeared on the scene 50 years ago, she wouldn't have been on the scene.
She wouldn't have made it to the first 2 minutes on an interview.
Yeah.
She would have been kicked out of the building. By the way, let me give you the last bit I'm going to give you of hers tonight. Oh, wait a second. We're still in YouBoob. That is a problem. YouBoobers, I want to show more videos. So if you're still in YouBoob, and I see that some people are still using the chat in YouBoob, what can I say? Get out of there, please, and come over to Odyssey. You have a link in YouBoob under the video in the description to see the whole video. Come here, click on there. I'll see you in Odyssey, and we're coming out of YouBoob so I can use the videos freely. Isn't that wonderful to have options, Thomas?
Mm-hmm.